Hey everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of Let's Stay Together. I hope you're having a great start to your week. I am so excited to have my guest, Will Gal, on the show from Heartstopper, the show that has taken the world by storm. So I see y'all coming in, get comfy, and I am going to grab my guest so we can dive right in. Right, Will, I just invited you.
Hello.
Hey Will, how are you, my man?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Tommy?
I am so good. It's so nice to officially connect with you.
Yeah, really good, really good, really good, really good. How are you?
I am fantastic, Will. To give you a little background, I started this show in March of 2020 when COVID shut the world down because I wanted people to have a place that they can come to every single week for some joy and hope and inspiration and to just have fun. And you bring all of that and more, so thank you again for hanging out today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. And for everybody tuned in, I have your questions. I will be asking fan questions towards the end of the interview, so stick around for that. And we have a lot to get to. You ready to rock?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good.
All right. First of all, I have to start by saying a massive congratulations to you with all of the success of Heartstopper. It has taken the world by storm, as I said earlier, and I think it's one of the few shows that still has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes since pretty much when it came out, which is just incredible. My husband and I, we binge watched this show like in 2 days. We just loved it. So for everyone here, I'm sure mostly everyone has seen the show, but how would you describe it in your own words?
I think Heartstopper is a celebration of love, of teenagers, of being at school and being a teenager, and what it is to be queer and grow up. And I think it's just a very positive and celebratory outlook on that. And I think the show that a lot of people wish they had growing up. And I hope it's a show that can really inspire and make people feel represented and seen for generations to come. I think that's the sum up. But it's mainly about two boys who start a friendship and they begin to realize that they possibly have more of a friendship going on, and there's lots of fun characters that come in and out. And yeah, it's just a great show.
And when you first read that initial script, what was it about the show that made you say, I have to be a part of this, I have to get involved?
I just think it's so joyous and positive, and I think the positive I really resonated with just the positivity of the script, of the message that Alice and the team were trying to kind of to give out and to portray. And I just, from the get-go, I just was like, this is such a great piece, from the books and to the screenplay. And I was like, oh, I just got to get my teeth dug into the script.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you sure did. I mean, you brilliantly play the role of Tao in this show. So walk me back for a minute. What was that audition process like? Was it intense? Was it quick? Did you find out you booked the role pretty soon after? Did you feel like you had a shot at it? Like, tell me how it all happened.
Well, I got the call from my youth theater, like that they were like doing an open casting for this new show on Netflix, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And they're like, oh, there's a part for an East Asian actor, British East Asian actor, like you should totally go for it. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I sent through like a tiny tape. It was like 20 seconds. And then we got a reply saying, yeah, we'd love to do a Zoom call. So then we did like a series of Zooms, because remember, this was like into lockdown, so we were in lockdown, I think. So it was a lot of Zoom calls. I met Eros, the director, wonderful director. I met Patrick, the producer, and Alice on Zoom, and we read through a couple of the scenes of Tao with Elle, and we kind of talked about kind of more about what the show was. They kind of explained it, and then I found myself getting called saying, we want you to come in and do a chemistry read with Yasmin Finney, who plays Elle, and with the rest of the cast. And yeah, and then I found myself getting there, and we were in this room, and we started reading through bits of the script. We were doing like chemistry reads to see if we got along. And then I went home from that, and then I got the call from the casting agent, the casting director, saying I got the gig, and I was like, whoa. And I was very, very happy, and yeah, here we are now, I guess.
That's incredible. I mean, it's hard to imagine anybody else playing this role except for you. And Tao is such a great character. He's somebody that I feel like we all need as a best friend, right? So, what have you loved about playing Tao? What's some of your favorite things about playing this character?
I think he's so Tao is so like opinionated, and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. He's very protective of his friends, and I think that's important attribute for any person. I mean, we all got to stick up for our friends, right? And I think that's something I really adore about him. I think he's so endearing and for his protection of his friends, and I think that's just a beautiful thing that I resonated with. He's very confrontational as well. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, and I love that about him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And some of his, I mean, there's so many great scenes throughout the course of this show. What are some for you that you'll forever hold close to your heart that you just loved filming?
Are we doing spoilers? I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, yes. I'm assuming spoiler alert. So I'm hoping most people here have already seen it. So if you haven't, close your ears for a few of this. If you have, then listen up.
You haven't seen the show yet, like you're living under a rock, honestly. So I'm gonna like say, so in episode 8, there's the scene with Tao and Elle in the art classroom, and it's like the big cliffhanger of the show. And I think that was just so much fun to kind of see that kind of arc and the development in their story kind of reach a point of change. And I just had so much fun shooting that scene with Yaz, and the art class just looked wonderful. Like the art department just they went for it with that classroom, and yeah, I'd have to say probably that's
Yeah, that's a great scene for sure. Was there a challenging or more difficult scene that you had to shoot to kind of prepare for any reason?
a difficult scene to shoot. I'd have to say that the fight in episode 7 was quite a challenge. Not to prepare for, like I kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't really quite expect it to be that kind of physically grueling. Like we did it over and over and over again, and it got really intense because it felt like really real. And I remember getting home after that day at work, and I was just like, all my muscles were like aching, and I was like physically and mentally drained. So I think that day was probably the most challenging day I had. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Now it's so crazy to me. I read that this was your first on-screen role, and it's so hard to imagine that because you're so brilliant in this show. It seems like you must have been doing this for as long as you've been alive. What was the very first scene that you filmed, and how did it feel when you walked off that set, being like, "Oh my God, I just did that"?
Yeah, for our first day, I was shitting myself. I was like so scared. I've never done this before. I was like so deeply uncomfortable because we went out and there was like a set, like a crew of like 50. Like Netflix were there, Seesaw were there. They were all there, and I remember I had the first line of the whole shoot. Like I had the first scene with Joe and Toby, and they suddenly just said and action, and I was like, what? And I was like so disorientated. I was like, what is going on? I had no clue, and I slowly got into it, and then like you click into a rhythm. But first day, I mean, I really was clueless. I mean, I'd learned, like I'd prepared, but I was just nothing can prepare you for like the first day on a big set. And but I learned and I clicked into the rhythm, and I was very lucky to survive the first day. Got through it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And which scene was that?
That was the first time we see Tao. Like he's like talking about kind of struggling with Elle having left, and all about the apple juice and everything. It's the first ever time we see Tao, and it was the first time I'd ever kind of. It was my first day. Yeah.
Wow, incredible! It's, like I said, it's amazing that this is your first big on-screen role because you're such a pro at it. What was the moment for you that you realized this show is catching on in a really big way? Like, did you have this one definitive moment where it just clicked and you thought, okay, this is something. This show is a cultural movement.
It didn't hit me until relatively recently. I think we did like a screening in London, and we had like a crowd of people in to kind of watch the first 2 episodes, and like the reactions and just the crowd response was crazy. Like they were laughing, they were clapping, they were cheering, they were like gasping at like every single moment. And just their reaction, and there's like a whole cinema like full of them. It was like crazy. I was like, wow, this is gonna really kind of create some buzz here, because I felt the buzz in that room, and I think that's when it hit. But it didn't actually properly hit until, well, I think it's still hitting now. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's still I'm still getting used to it, and it's just great that we've managed to move this many people in such a powerful way, and I'm so grateful like that we've done that for people, and I'm so kind of glad that people enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I mean, here I'm based in Manhattan, and here in the United States, I'm starting to see. I was flying home yesterday from a job, and I was in the airport and in the bookstore, in two bookstores, all of Alice's books were front and center. And
Wow.
all of them. And I've never seen that before in an airport, right? So I'm like, wow, this really is resonating in a huge way. And by the way, there weren't many left. Like, they were, all stacked, and you could see there were only a few left behind the big stack. So it's pretty amazing. And I think a big reason of that is so many people in the community feel seen, right? It's one of the first optimistic stories that shows relationships and friendships and characters in a positive light without this darkness and heaviness. And I think it means so much to so many. I know it does. I've received so many DMs when I announced you telling me what this show means to people. So for you, how does it feel to be a part of that, to know that you're literally changing people's lives with a show like this?
I think for me, it's very moving. I think I'm just kind of overjoyed and so grateful, and yeah, moved by the response. It means so much to me to have brought to feel like I was part of something that brought so much joy and love in the world, and that just means the most to me. I think that's, as artists, that's what kind of we look for, and as actors, we look to bring kind of joy or bring real emotion, bring people together through our work, and I feel we've achieved that really well with Heartstopper, and I'm just very moved. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you everyone.
Yeah, no, it's a very real thing, and I think a lot of people also appreciate how it depicts high schoolers in a very realistic way as well, right? It's not 30-year-olds playing teenagers. It's not these 7-foot glamazon runway models off of the Milan, Paris, Paris Fashion Week wearing couture. It's a very realistic depiction that people can connect with, and I'm sure that was something that was appealing to you too, right?
Oh, completely. I mean, we're all teens, like most of the main casts. I'm going here are still doing A levels like as we speak. Like they're probably like revising. Poor them, but like we're all like at the age that kind of we can really relate to. I think that's really important. And at the time of the shoot, actually, another thing, I had really bad acne and stuff, and I was kind of unfazed because I think we all have acne growing up. We all have spots and things, and I think it's really important to kind of represent that on screen. I think everyone looks at TV and like actors, and they all have perfect glowing skin and everything. Like, oh, I'm not like that. I wish I was like that, but I had so much acne growing up, and I still get it. And I think that was just part of the realness of it. I was like, me and the makeup team, we were just like, let's actually keep some of the spots there because we're representing a teen in school, and I think that's a really kind of important thing to be kind of hit.
I love that. I think so many people wouldn't do what you just said. I think that makes you all the more endearing for so many of your followers who love watching you and love this show because, like you said, it's real life. I mean, we have a lot of veils up, especially with social media. I think if you could be real in a moment like that, it's incredible. And you mentioned Kit, you mentioned Joe, you mentioned Yaz, and you all seem so close and like such a family. And on social media, I received a lot of people writing to me saying they love seeing when one of you posts. It's like the entire cast comments right away. It's like first comment, second comment, third comment. Like you all just have a support system. How is it working with everybody? And how did you develop such a tight and intense bond? Because you don't always get that.
Yeah, I think first of all, we all like really got along with each other from the get-go. Like from the rehearsal time to the shoot, we were spending the whole time with each other, and like we just all just really bonded really well. And I'm so glad we did because I think it's really important for like the show and the dynamic of the show. I also think that we kind of hung out a lot on the weekends as well. Oh, sorry, this light's going weird.
That's okay.
We hung out a lot on the weekends, and yeah, it just kind of bonded us closer, and we had similar interests, and we're all also like we're all so young, like we're all like late teens, right? And we're in this time where it's so new to us all. Like the whole notion of being on a big film, like a TV set, and going through this for the first time, all there to support each other. And I think that's another reason we are so close, is because we're like, oh, we've got to watch out for each other. Like if we're all going, we go through highs and lows in life, and I just think we were there for each other through this new experience.
Who was the biggest goofball on set out of all of you? Like, who was the troublemaker?
Who was the troublemaker? I think Toby Donovan was making us laugh a lot. Toby, who played Isaac, and Yaz. They made a lot of funny jokes, and they were like joking around and stuff in a professional way.
Yes.
I'd say they were like the center of like the banter and stuff, and a lot of like the like they just they were like making the jokes and like firing the shot. And I think I had a lot of fun with them. I had a lot of fun like laughing at them.
And a lot of people were wondering who would have the most bloopers on a blooper reel.
Bloopers. Yeah, I think we all had a few slip ups. I mean, on the blooper reel for season 1, I think we're all on it a fair amount. I think there's like odd slip ups here, and like I remember Joe came into one scene and he had his mask on, and it was like, ah, shit, and then we had to go again. But bloopers, I think we're all on it, yeah, an even amount. Like we all have a laugh from time to time, and we all make mistakes, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I love that you shared some of your favorite scenes and moments for your character. I always find it interesting asking, what is a scene that you love watching that you're not in? Like a scene that really just resonated with you?
Oh, it's a very good question. I think in episode 8, to be crafted Cecilia Coleman, with Nick Nelson's mum, the coming out scene. I think the way they shot it and like realness that the of like both actors was just a masterclass in portraying that moment. And I think that's probably powerful. I think I was tearing up in the screen at that. So probably that scene.
Yeah, that scene's absolutely amazing. It's so heartfelt and so beautiful. And what an icon to get her to play the mother in the show, right?
Yeah, insane.
It's amazing. And the show got renewed for 2 more seasons. Congratulations. Super exciting. I know the fandom is so pumped about it. I know these are based off of the graphic novels, but the graphic comics, what do you want to see for your character that hasn't been explored yet? Because there's a lot of storyline there. So what's something that really excites you?
I think probably Howl's kind of friendship with Elle developing into something more. I think that's something I'd love to explore. I can't wait to explore it. We're probably going to explore it. And how their friendship develops into a love and a romance. And I'm really looking forward to that part of their journey being shown, and their romance kind of blossoming. That's probably what I'm most excited about. But also just to see more like dancing, I don't know, or like more Hal being silly and being himself.
Yeah, we're all ready. And a lot of fans were wondering, we're going to get to the fan questions, but based off what you just said, do you know when you're going to begin filming season 2? Any word?
All I know for now is that we've got 2 more seasons, but I would have thought that we would shoot season 2 not too far away. That's all I'll say.
Okay, good to know. Love to know it. Let's get to a few fan questions, and these were the most popular questions I received in my DMs. And let's see, what are we going to start with? Okay, this one you knew was coming, so I'm going to get this one done. Tao's hair, love it or leave it, and do you think he'll have different hair in future seasons?
The hair. I get so many questions about the hair. We'll see. I think the way we did the hair, it was really bold. It was very out there, and I think perhaps Tao is one of those people that go through a lot of hair phases. And I think we all do. Like in school, like we've all gone through those moments where we make a really bold decision and we're like, oh, maybe we change it, and hair develops, the look develops, and maybe we'll see that develop in season 2 and 3. But we'll see.
Yeah, in high school, I decided it would be a good idea to shave my hair off completely. I mean, I didn't have a piece of hair on my head. It was tragic.
Ouch. Yeah, we've all been there with the buzz cut. Yeah.
This was shorter than a buzz. Tragic.
Ah.
Another great question. Was it challenging bringing to life a character from pre-existing material, or did you find that helpful, or did it add more pressure?
I think first of all with Tao, there's less of him in the first two comics, so I think I was quite kind of liberated by that. I had very little to play with, and I could really make him my own. But we did a lot of scene study with Alice Oseman and with the director, and they were like, really make it your own. You don't have to just be strict to the books and be like religious to the books. They said you can make Tao your own and you can play with him in your own way. So I didn't feel bound at all. I felt very free to kind of play.
That's cool. I love that. Let's see. Three more. How much do you rehearse a scene before actually filming it? This question was one of the top questions I received. I think a lot of people assume you kind of walk on set, you do it once, twice, and then you move on. But what's really how it all happens?
I think can't remember. Yeah, we'd block a scene. So what you do is you get to set, say hi to the director, how's your day, what's your lunch, like, yeah, cool. And then you're like, right, let's block the scene. So you kind of read through it once, and you've done all your prep before. Like most of the prep happens before for me, like before we actually start shooting. And you read through the script, and then he's like, okay, I want you to stand here, and then like maybe walk over here, and then we'll get that angle there, and they'll prepare the shot. And then they'll do the shot over and over again. But before that, you'll rehearse it normally once or twice before you actually go for the take. And I think that was always really helpful for me to have like the time to kind of, okay, I'm going to do this in this shot, and I'm going to do this in this scene, and I'm going to feel like. So yeah, a bit of rehearsal, but not actually that much. I mean, it's not like other things where you have a lot of time. It's very much right. Let's run it through once and we shoot.
That's amazing. And do you have a playlist to help get you into character? I love this question.
This is a good question. I personally don't actually. I don't have a playlist for Tao or anything. I don't have. I know like a lot of actors do to get into the kind of character. I just kind of played what I liked, kind of chill music, and to get me kind of in the zone, ready for work. Not so much as ready for a character.
Good to know. Good to know. There were a lot of requests for a playlist, so you never know. Two more fan questions. Was it hard to control your laughter during Tao's dancing scene?
For me, there was no laughter on that day. That was a very challenging day too. There's like nothing I can describe as more kind of cringe than having the feeling of dancing and twerking. There was no music. It was 8 a.m. I hadn't had my coffee. Like there was 40 crew all wearing masks. No one was laughing, and I was twerking for like 3 hours, like at 8 a.m. And like I got into it, and I was like, you know what? I just got to go for it. There's a point where you're like, I've done enough now. It's been cringy enough. You just got to go full edge. But to no music, that was the real challenge. I wasn't laughing. I was more kind of stressing and trying to make the crew laugh, which they weren't. They weren't having any of it. But I think I got a couple laughs by the end. When I'd fully loosened up and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I've come this far. I think a couple of the crew laughed. I hope they laughed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are expecting more dancing, so you better buckle up and get ready for some more dance sequences.
More dancing. I've got to start my prep soon. I've got to start my dancing prep. Get in the zone.
That's amazing. And then this was a funny question. The last fan question. How did those milkshakes really taste?
Oh yeah, no, they didn't taste good. Those milkshakes that day, they were disgusting. They were honestly, it was like water. It was like colored water. And
Ooh.
I mean, visually, the milkshakes, they look lovely and very edible, and very quaffable. But no, they were mank. They were mank, bruv. They were not good.
Yeah, they looked pretty rough. I didn't envy you on that one. Well, a lot of people too, not just about the show, about you personally, said they felt really seen and inspired because you're out there, mixed race and Asian, and people don't always see that representation of themselves out there. And I know that the messages I received were saying how that really touched people, especially a lot of the younger high schoolers out there. Do you feel the impact that your visibility has for other people? Because it's certainly being felt by people watching.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's really important that Tao is being portrayed as an East Asian kind of character, and also that I'm being this light playing. Sorry. That yeah, I'm an actor on the screen of mixed race heritage. I think when I was growing up, I never had those kind of people to look up to. I never really saw really until the age of 13 or 14. Like I didn't think that kind of East Asian, British East Asian, and like British mixed East Asian like actors existed. I never thought that that was a career path that could be done until really recently, and I think it's really improving. And I feel like very blessed and it means a lot that I'm able to kind of be the person that people look up to, especially from our community. And I'm just glad that now there's a lot of talent out there, and there's a lot of people representing the ethnicity. And I'm just very grateful, and I'm very glad that things are changing slowly. I think there's a long way to go with representation, but I think we're on the right course to get there. I think we're heading in the right direction.
Well, you were one of the people paving the way, and it means a lot to many people, which I think is just awesome. And I have to ask before I let you go about your music. You're very musically gifted. Is anything up and coming with your music?
Yeah, so I just released an EP called How Can I Pretend with my band, with my sister Olivia. Big shout out to Olivia. Called The Wager Project, and next we are going to release a single over the summer. So I guess people should kind of have their eyes peeled for that. It's going to be kind of a big fusion of a lot of things. I think there's a lot of jazz in there, but there's a lot of pop, and there's a bit of rap as well. So we're going to like fuse a lot of stuff. So I guess that's something to look out for musically.
Amazing. We can't wait for that. And well, before I let you go, I always ask this question to people like yourself who have a really large following and a fast following, because I think people really, really value what you have to say versus sometimes what's told in the media or what they read in a book, because you've lived such a vivid life already, right? And you've had so many life experiences and work experiences. I'm wondering if there's a piece of advice you've gotten along the way, personally or professionally, that's something that kind of changed your vision on a way you thought about something and now you think about that differently. Is there anything that just helped you along the way?
Yeah, so much. There's so many people that put me in the reason that the reason I'm where I am in my life, and so many golden pieces of advice. Lucky and fortunate. I think the biggest piece of advice was probably not being afraid to mess up and not being afraid to fail. I think in this industry and in the artistic kind of industries in general, there's this big pressure to not fail, to have to be perfect and have to be successful um, as quickly as you can. But I think having kind of failed and having kind of made mistakes and messed up, I have kind of got to the place I am now. And the best advice I could give, or like the best thing I've been told, and I'll pass it on, is just don't be afraid to kind of mess up and kind of make mistakes, because from mistakes you
Wise words, my friend, wise words. And to everybody tuned in, watching you, supporting you, cheering you on from all over the world. I have Italy, Spain, Russia, Brazil, I mean, Mexico, all these people wrote in saying they were so excited to watch today. The United States, what do you want to say to everybody who is Team Will all the way?
Oh, I just want to say thank you guys. Like sending all the love out there. I'm so like happy you've enjoyed Heartstopper. I'm so glad you feel seen and represented. And yeah, sending all my love and all my gratitude to like everyone. It honestly means so much, and I'm eternally grateful for everything I've received and all the love.
My friend, thank you so much for hanging out. I could talk to you for hours, and I know you have such a humongous career ahead of you, and I look forward to seeing where it takes you. I look forward to more seasons of Heartstopper, and I know big things are going to continue coming your way.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Tommy. Thanks so much for having me as well.
Of course, it was my pleasure, and I'm going to post this interview now for everybody watching so you can rewatch it, or if you're just seeing this, watch it for the first time, share it, send it, whatever you want. It's being posted. Will, maybe I'll be doing a set visit for season 2. You never know.
You never know. Hope to see you though.
All right, be well, my friend.
All right. See you later. Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone. Bye. Bye.